Hello. In the Autodesk Revit Architecture Forum, there was this question about creating signage on a curved wall. It says model text along a curved surface. It would be nice if Autodesk would allow text to be placed on a curved surface in Revit. So I understand that this is what the user wants to do. It's model text placed along the curved surface of the wall. The idea is that if the wall changes in radius or in length or height, the text keeps itself hosted on the wall. So let's see how to do this. On the left, I have Revit 2017. On the right, I have Snagit and some graphics for my plan to do this family. Basically, I will use three families. The first family is a generic model because that template contains the model text tool. Then I load that family into a generic model adaptive template because I need to create a repeater family. This will be the repeater and the next family will be the repetition. So this family number 2 is going to be loaded into a third family of the same template, generic model adaptive. And there I will create a spline of 3 points where I would create a divided path and a repetition with family 2. Here on the left, I will be passing parameters from family 1 to family 2. Then I will pass the same parameters from family 2 to family 3 so that at the end the user has control over the properties of these families in the project. So that is the plan. On the right, I have some reminders for properties that I need to activate in these families. The first family needs to be work plane based and always vertical. The reason is that in the second family, I want to host family 1 to a point, as you can see in this image. That point will allow me to change the elevation of family 1 as needed. And always vertical to avoid that the family comes in the wrong orientation. So I do the same, always vertical for family 2 and family 3. At the end, we load everything in a project where we will have a curved wall. Okay, so this is the plan, so let's begin. So I begin from families, new. Then from the templates, I find generic model. Click on open. And then let's take care of these properties first. I go to family category and parameters and I say work plane based, yes. Always vertical, yes. Where do I model the model text? I go to an elevation. So let me go to the project browser. Let's go to the front view. Let me use ZX to see everything on the screen, and then I put the first model text. I go to create model text. Instead of that letter A that I have in my diagram, let me use L because it's not symmetrical, so it keeps me aware of the orientation of the letter. So I am going to put the letter somewhere here. With text, everything is kind of not precise, so I just move the text using my arrow keys. Let's say something like this, and let's see the properties of the letter. Uh, the letter has properties such as visible, text, horizontal alignment, material, depth, and subcategory. You can put as many as you want in this process, but I am going to use some of them. So I select the letter and I go to visible. Yes, I want that. So I click on this little button to associate the visible property of the letter to a new parameter like this. Click on new parameter and let's say visible instance. I want all my parameters to be instance because I will be passing them from one family to the other. I want to classify visible under visibility. That's fine, and click OK. What's next? The text, yes, I want to pass that. Of course, I click on this little button and I associate that text property to a text parameter called text, also instance. Horizontal alignment, I need this to be centered, so I am changing that orientation. Material, yes, it would be useful to have a material, so I associate the material property of the letter to a material parameter, instance, materials and finishes. Yes, and the depth or thickness of the text, yes, I want that. So I click on this little button to associate depth to the depth of the text. Instance, dimensions, okay. Subcategory, I don't think I need that. Something that could be useful is that you provide the name of the text font that the model text family is using. So I click on the family, I go to edit type, and I notice that this default text font is Arial. Okay, that's fine, but I want to rename this family so that the user knows that this is Arial. Okay, because of course you may want to change this to different fonts, so you need to go back to family 1 and create other families with different text font. So I am renaming this as Arial, and basically I think I'm done with family 1. I am going to save it. So let's say save as family. Let's suppose that I call this family model text unit Arial. And I am going to put GM at the beginning to remind myself that this is the first family, the generic model. So let's click on save. But there is something else that I could add. If I go to the project browser and I go to the reference level, it would be good to have some kind of offset from the wall because of course the letters need something, some anchors to the wall, some spacing. So I am going to add a reference plane, create reference plane, and let's put a reference plane here, and let's use this dimension to create a new parameter that we will call offset from wall. This is going to be an instance as well, and click OK. Notice that I don't worry about the current dimensions of that offset from the wall, or the depth of the letter, or the height, because I am controlling that by parameters that will be passed to the next families. So whatever we have there, it's okay. So let's save this family and let's create family 2. Big R, new family. This time we go and select a different template, generic model adaptive. Click open. The first thing I do here is I change this background to white. Let's go to background, none, and click OK. Then let's go to the reference level view. This family is simply the repeater that I need for the next family. Because I want to control the height or mounting height of the letter, I want to put a point. Let's put it on the center of the reference planes. Let's go to a 3D view and let's load family 1, which is GM model text unit. Let's load this family with this tool into the other one. Load into project and close. So I'm loading family 1 into family 2. Let's go to the 3D view and let's use the set tool to set this horizontal plane of the point as my work plane. And then I use place on work plane, and then I put the letter right there at that point. Let's go to the reference level, and this was supposed to give me a gap between the point and the back of the wall. Maybe I didn't do that properly. Let's see. So I click on this family, click on edit family. Let's go to the reference level, and oh yeah, I forgot something. This is the offset, but I forgot to align the back of the letter to that plane. So I do modify align to this plane, align this face of the wall, and lock. Okay, now we go and use load into project and close. Do you want to save changes to this family 1? Yes. Replace, overwrite? Yes. Overwrite the existing version? Yes. So now I have that gap that I want for the letters from the wall. Okay. So let's see the 3D view of this family. The orientation is correct. If I go to the front view, it looks correct. But in the elevations, the elevations are not named properly. The front elevation is the back, and the back is the front. Don't ask me why. I have been reporting this problem for many years. So let me rename the back view as true front, and then I rename the front view as the back. Okay, so then the true front is front. And now notice if I go to the back elevation, notice that this is the back elevation, and if I go to the front, this is the correct front elevation. So anyway, I click on the family, and now I need to pass these parameters from family 1 to local parameters in family 2. So let's do that. Let's open properties, and okay, the first thing I want to pass is visible from the previous family. Yes, I need that. So I click on new parameter, visible, instance, and visibility. Okay, text, of course I need that. So I click on this button to associate text from family 1 to text in family 2. So I'm just doing this operation right here. Material from family 1, yes. Let's control that, and let's put material instance, yes. Depth of text, yes, of course, I need that. So I do depth of text instance, yes. Offset from the wall, yes, I need that. So I create a new local parameter, offset from wall, always by instance, because I am passing them to other families. And this parameter was created in family 2. This is one that I will pass only from family 2 to family 3. This is a local parameter here. So I want to pass this offset value or associate that to a new parameter. Let's say offset from level or work plane, like this, by instance. Click OK, and now I have all these properties controlled. Before I go to the family 3, it would be nice to set some default values. So let's go to family types, and let's put some default values. How about if the height of the text, instead of 6 inches, is 1 foot? Let's apply. Oh, that's the depth. Sorry, I was thinking of the height. So the depth, let's make it 2 inches. Apply. The height, I don't have the height yet, so I maybe missed to pass that parameter. I will do that later. Offset from the wall, let's put some, let's say 1 inch from the wall. That's fine. Offset from the work plane, let's say 4 feet. So the family should go up like this. Yes, it did. And so now the family is over here. Let's pass the parameter that I missed, which is the height of the text. Notice that I forgot to include the height. I don't see it. So that's no problem. I can go back to family 1 by using edit family and select the text and find the height. But notice that the height, the reason I missed it is because it's not available here in the instance properties. That is a type property of the model text. So I have to go to the edit type button, and the text size is here. But notice that there is a button to associate this type parameter to another one. So I click on this button for the text size and associate that to a new property called height of text instance, and click OK. Click OK. Close all this, load into project and close. Save, yes. Overwrite, yes. Overwrite the existing version of family 1 in family 2, yes. So now if I click on this family, I should have a new instance parameter here that controls the height. So I have to associate that to a new parameter called height of text by instance. And then let's go to family types and set a default value. Let's say, how about 1 foot? Great. So all these parameters are working. Let's click OK to this. Let's take care of these properties, always vertical. So we go to family, category, and parameters and say always vertical, yes. Notice that by default the family is shared. I don't need the other parameters. The category is generic models. Let's click OK. So I think I'm done with family 2. Let me save family 2. So I say save, and for this one I will be use GMA model text Arial repeater. This is to remind myself that this is a repeater family. Okay, let's click on save. So I'm done with family 1 and family 2, I think. Let's create family 3. Big R, new family, same template, generic model adaptive. Click on open. Well, same thing. I change the background, graphic display options, background, none. In properties, in the project browser, remember these names are wrong. So the back is going to be renamed as true front, and front is going to be renamed as back. And now I can rename true front as front. Okay, so now these names match these names in the cube. Okay, so let's go back to the reference level. So I go to reference points and I create 3 points. The points doesn't have to be here. It could be anywhere because it will be adaptive anyway. But I just like to put it there. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't cause any difference. So I have my 3 points. With these 3 points, I need to create a spline. To create the spline, I select the 3 points and I use this tool, Spline Through Points. If I go to properties, I click on this line. This line is a model line at the moment, so it will be visible in the project. So I don't want that to be visible. I click on is reference line, yes. Okay, so now it becomes green. It won't be visible in the project. Okay, so I have my 3 points, but they need to be adaptive so that they follow the curve of the wall. So I select the points. I use the filter tool, check none, reference points, 3 points, and I make them adaptive with this tool. Let me check that I have the correct order. Yes, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now let's click on the reference line or spline and use divide path. The default number of nodes is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are the nodes. Let me click on this divided path and take control of this number parameter. So I associate that number to a new parameter called number of nodes, and that's an instance as well. Okay, let's go to a 3D view, and don't care about the distance between 1 and 3. We can change that later. Let's find family 2 here with switch windows. Family 2 is this repeater, and let's load this, or load into project and close. Let's go to the 3D view. Because this is a repeater, it contains a point that needs to be placed on face, not on work plane, meaning on the face of this node of the divided path. Notice that I don't put it here, because if I do it there, I might be placing the repeater on the adaptive point, and I want to place it exactly on a node of the divided path. So I place it on the second node. Click on modify to finish. So this is the first family. Now I have to repeat it. I click on the repeater, find the repeat tool, click on that. Now I get all these letters. Let me go to family types and specify 12 for number of nodes. Let's click OK. So now I have 12 letters, because remember, we want to type hello world or hello forum. Okay, so that's about 11 characters or 12. So that's it. If I move this, notice that if I move the adaptive point, the snake of letters is going to adapt to the curvature. Let's go to the elevation, and if I want to specify a default distance for this, just to see how the text is going, I can say, let me use 12 feet, and this one, let's say this one is 6 feet. This is just for me in the family. It doesn't affect anything in the project. So I have the repeaters, but I cannot leave this as a repetition, because I want to type hello world. So I have to click on the repetition and use this remove repeater. So I click on remove repeater, and now I have individual letters. Notice that all of them are selected. So I have to do the passing of parameters again between family 2 and family 3. So I go to properties, and I start passing these parameters to all of them, to all the instances of the letter. So let's say visible, yes, I need visible instance, and I classify that under visibility, yes. Text, yes, of course, I need to associate that to a text parameter instance. Okay, what else am I missing? At the moment, this is all the same, but I need this to be individual letters, right? So I need to add more parameters for this. Now I release the selection of all of them, and I take one by one, and I say this letter number one, instead of being associated with text, which it was a mistake on my part, it cannot be just one for all of them. I need new parameter. This is going to be text 01, meaning just the text for instance number one. And I am going to copy this portion of the name of the parameter. So that's text number one. This second letter is text number two, and so and so. Maybe I will do fast forward in the video later, because all of this is the same. I need to do that 12 times. And here I am doing the last parameter for the last letter. So associate this one to a new parameter called text 12, an instance. Okay, let's click OK to this. Let's go to family types, and that original parameter that I did for text, I need to delete that, because now each individual letter has its own parameter. Oh, I see that this one is by mistake. This one is type, so I am going to edit this to be instance. Okay, now I see that all of them are by instance. I can tell because instance parameters have this default word in parentheses. Okay, let's click OK to the window. Let's go to family type and parameters and make sure that this family is always vertical. Yes. This one doesn't need to be shared. Let's click OK. Let's go to a 3D view, and I think this is ready, but who knows? We might need to go back to this family, or maybe sometimes we need to go back to family 2 and family 1. That is the process. That's why it helps to have a diagram for yourself to see, the scheme, the idea. This is ready. Let's save this family. This is going to be, this doesn't need to say GMA or GM, because now this is the family that the final user is going to use. So they don't care about GMA or GM. That's more for you, the family maker. So this is going to be called, let's call this model text signage, or maybe signage model text, right? Something like this. Or let me remove the spaces. This is okay. Let's click on save, and let's create a project. Big R, new project. Let's use the architectural template. This is my new project. I am going to create a wall, architecture, wall architectural, and let me use generic 6 masonry. I use the arc tool. Let's put unconnected height of 10 feet, and let's simply draw a wall like this. First point, second point, and this is the radius. Okay, let's click on modify to finish. Let's go to a 3D view. Let me rotate this a little bit like this. Okay, so this is my wall. Now let's bring the family. I go to switch windows and I click on signage. model text, click on load into project, and let's go to a 3D view. Notice that there are two options: place on face or place on work plane. It has to be placed on face because I want the text to stick to the wall, right? If I use work plane, it will be attached to the reference level, not to the wall. But if I just simply click on the wall, I don't have any geometry that I can use as a guide for my 3 points. So it's difficult to have all the 3 points aligned if I click on the wall. So the idea is to click on the at the base of the wall because I have something there. You see that? That gives me the nearest snap. So that's better than simply clicking anywhere here on the wall. So with place on face activated and helping myself with the nearest snap, I click a point on the outside line at the bottom of the wall. This is my point number one. Point number two somewhere here, and point number three, let's say, is somewhere here. Okay, click on modify to finish, and let's first test if the radius of the wall changes. The signage should stay on the wall. Let's see. The current radius of the wall is 24 feet and 4 inches and something. Let's change that to be 30 feet. So I click on 30 feet, and as you can see, the signage is on the wall. If this is 25, the signage stays on the wall. So that is working. Now let's look on the let's test other properties. This looks kind of small for this length, right, of the signage. So let's click on the sign and let's change the height first. Instead of 1 foot, how about if we say 2 feet? Okay, that looks better, more proportioned in relation to the length. That's good. Maybe I could use 2'6". Okay, that looks even better. If I want to change the elevation, instead of 4 feet, how about 3'6". Yes, they move down. That's good. Another way of controlling the spacing is to change the number of nodes. If I have, instead of 12, if I have 24 nodes, the spacing of course gets reduced. If I use 18 number of nodes, I got more space. If I use 12, I get this kind of spacing. So that's a way of controlling the spacing of the wall. Okay, how about material? Let's see. Let's click on the signage. Let me change the offset from the work plane a little bit more like this. That's better. Let's change the material. Let's go to the material parameter and like this, material. Let's click on the little button and let's suppose that we want some kind of golden pattern. So let me create a new parameter, create new material. Let's rename this material to golden, just like that. Golden is fine. And then I go to appearance, replaces this asset, And then let's see if there is something in the libraries with the word gold. Um, Metallic paint. Yes, metallic paint, glossy gold or satin gold. Let's use glossy gold and let's click on right click replace in editor. So now my new material golden looks like this. Let's close this. Let's go to the graphics tab and let's say use render appearance. Yes. And that's it. That's my new material. Let's click OK. So now this should be golden. Let's try ray trace or realistic. Let me see if I zoom in into this. Yes, that's good. It's kind of dark. If I use shaded, it looks like this. The most important thing is to make this be hello world or hello forum. Okay, so let's click on the signage, and over here I have all my text parameters. Remember, instead of using this, I have to click on the text and use this little square, and this is where I can change the text. So let's do that. So this is going to be H. Yes, it's changing. This one is going to be E. The next two L's, very convenient, are the same. Hello. So this one is hello. The next one is a comma. The next one is a W. Next one is O. This one is R. This one is oh, that's again L. L, very convenient. And this one is D. And the last one is an exclamation point, like this. Hello world. I notice that maybe I need more spacing. So in that case, I might need to move the adaptive point. So let me see. Maybe it's easier from an elevation view. I go to the south elevation. Notice somewhere here you can see the number 1, adaptive point number 1. Somewhere here, this one is adaptive point number 2, and this is adaptive point number 3. So I can use the move tool and move my point, let's say 2 feet more in this direction. That gives me more spacing, but notice that this is still overlapping there. So I want to move this a little bit more. It will remain attached to the face of the wall. So I can play with those points to get exactly what I need. So this is the sign. Let's confirm again that if the radius of the wall changes, the sign stays put. But notice that the smaller the radius, of course, I need to adjust again the spacing of the letters. If the wall moves, if the whole wall moves to another place, the sign should go along with the wall. Okay, so I think this is this is what I promised to do for the forum. Oh, how about one last feature? What if you, instead of saying hello world, you want to say hello forum? Well, just go to the properties and change. This is F. Forum is almost the same. Forum. I change some letters and I say M. That's it. Thank you very much.